Welcome to Toffee Blue View, your source for all things Everton. I'm Gerry, Max, Terry are here with me, and we need to talk about Ghana, Idrissa Gana. Recent rumors have been saying that he has requested a transfer to PSG and that he's this close to agreeing personal terms and all that kind of stuff. You never know what's actually real. But this is one of those that got really strong today from a number of sources. So, what was your immediate reaction to that, Max?
Well done. He deserves it. To be honest, like, how long have I said that I feel like out of our squad, one player that could fit into a top European side would be Idrissa Gana. And to be honest, the last 3 seasons he's been in the top 2 tacklers in the league, so he deserves it. He's like, obviously, he's not as good on the ball, and we've gone over that to death. That he gives away, his ball retention's pretty poor, his shot isn't the best, and things like that. But I still feel like he's our first. Well, I mean, obviously, given the revelation that Andre Gomez has been, I still feel like he's probably up there with our best players that we have. And this is just an example of the club not being able to facilitate what a top player deserves. A player of his caliber deserves to be playing in Europe. And you see Adrien Rabiot's looking to agree to have gone to Barcelona, and it just looks set up on a pedestal for him now to go in. And French speaking, shouldn't have too many problems settling into the squad. And if it does happen, I wish him the best.
Max, really quick, do you think it's a situation right now of it just not being the right fit with what our manager's trying to do?
No, because I feel like without him, I feel like there'd be a big hole in that central midfield. Because you look back last season, how many times the ball had kind of bypass our midfield third. I think if it wasn't for him, it'd bypass the midfield third a hell of a lot more. I've said, if he's drilled persistently on his work on the ball, I feel like he would improve in terms of his end product on the ball. So I don't think it's not like a square peg into a round hole. But I still feel like we could build a midfield around him. But PSG come calling, you can't, of course he's gonna go.
Well, I mean, you look at this season. He's hugely important. Our entire squad struggles when he's not in. This is very true. All right, we just don't have it. However, if you've got a player who's naturally a little bit better on the ball, you know what I mean. Like, it's one of those things where maybe you'll sacrifice a little bit of your ball winning for a little bit better passing, a little bit more attack. It seems like that might be the direction we're going in if Gay leaves, right?
Possibly, but look at the games where he was out injured. Silva changed the entire setup to compensate for it. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. Obviously, it's not a done deal yet. I've got gut instinct that it will be, because as I said, it looks like a good move for him, and we'll see how we'll solve the problem. But yeah, it's one of them. You can't blame him in the slightest.
Terry, regardless of price, assume it's a big number, whatever, 40 million, whatever. Regardless of price, we're at January, right? This is the middle of the season. Is this a wise thing to do, selling a player who has been important to our defense, to our defense at this stage of the season?
I'll prefix this with saying if it does happen, then you've got to just trust Marcel Brands that he's going to deal with it and progress in spite of it, because that's what all clubs have to do. But if you're asking me, I think would be absolutely crazy to do it, because there's two circumstances in which I would be okay with this move coming off, because I think every player is replaceable, but under the right circumstances. And one would be if we were offered a huge amount of money. He's 29, and he obviously, he's not gonna have a lot of years left in the Premier League type football. because of how physical it is and the type of role he plays, or if we were really stacked in centre midfield already and we had other players already in the squad who could come in the event that Idrissa Gueye's replacement didn't cut it. Neither of those things are true. The rumoured price is that we want 40 million, but they're only willing to pay 25 because the financial fair play is holding them back. I'm sorry, Liverpool sold a player that doesn't even play games for them for 20 million or 19 million the other day, and we're going to sell a best midfield player for 25? No, absolutely not. The other players we've got in his position in the squad are, forget Gomez, he's not our player. He might be soon, hopefully, but he's not at the minute. We've got Schneiderlin, we've got Tom Davies, and we've got McCarthy. Now, say we bring in a replacement for Idrissa Gueye and he's another Klasan type signing who just doesn't adapt into this league. We are stuck with those three players and a lone player, and it's not also a staggering amount of money to sort of make us go, we can't turn down that price. It just stinks for me. Both aspects of the transfer, our ability to accommodate the loss and the amount of money we bring in, neither sit right with me. There's a lot of players who need to be recycled in this squad, yet still he's toward the very bottom of the list. There's 3 midfield players in that department who are ahead of him in the need to go category. I know it doesn't always work like that. People don't always want to buy your worst players off you, but I'd be tempted to resist as much as we could if I was the club, unless we've got something up our sleeve and we can bring in maybe even 2 players to go into that position and really change how we set up, because other than that, I just can't see how we come out of this looking any good or not regretting it.
Yeah. We're so not deep at that position. It is a huge risk to sell and replace with new player or players, which I could see happening, by the way. Us bringing in 2 players for that position or that area, and to start kind of mixing and matching and getting combinations going there. It's such a risk. But what if it's a situation where we sell him in January, but he doesn't leave till the summer? I haven't heard that proposed, but if that's the case, that's less of a risk, right?
Yeah, I mean, in theory it would be, but I don't think they're interested in that because they can only play in January. And the whole attraction of this deal for PSG apparently is how cut price it is. But it's like, we shouldn't be accepting it being cut price because there's other players in that position. They could turn around and go to Barcelona, and Denis Suarez is a number 6 and he's getting linked with a £14 million move away. It's like, that's even less. Like, why don't you go and look for players like that? We shouldn't be selling our better players for cut price deals. I'm sorry, it's not when, because like it or not, transfers are sort of predicated on similar deals. We've used that to our advantage before. We sold Joleon Lescott for more than he was worth because Liverpool had just bought Glenn Johnson for too much. Same thing again. They've just sold a player who doesn't play a game for them and hasn't done a thing in the senior levels of the sport for £19 million. We can't be selling our best midfield player, our best permanent midfield player, for 25 million. We just look stupid. I turn around and said 40, then that's another matter, but not for that price.
Yeah, that price is ridiculous to me. See, the thing that I saw, Terry, and this should tell you about how true this is. I saw that we wanted to sell him for 40, but they wanted to pay 35. And so I was thinking, well, somewhere between 35 and 40 is not the worst price for Idrissa Gana Gueye, who's 29, and he's not going to be able to maintain that for, his same stats for too much longer. We have a big, when it comes to leverage, being able to say he led the league in interceptions. You know what I mean? Being able to point to his interception numbers, his tackles, all that stuff. Being able to point to that and say, that's quantifiable. That is empirical evidence. We counted them. This is how many tackles, you know what I mean? And that he has value because of that. You know what I mean? I think we're only going to sell him if it's not cut price. The idea of this being a cut price move for them, I think that's optimistic on behalf of PSG. I just don't see that happening.
I think the banker on the player forcing the move, like that's what if I was PSG, I would be that they will get the lower price because the player is attracted to the club, and rightly so. I'd have no problem with him going. As Max said, he's earned it. He's one of those players who could be at a much higher level than he is. He's got his faults, but for the job he does, he's fantastic. But the I think the attraction for PSG is that this move is cheap because they've got financial fair play problems, and I don't think that suits us. If they're going to pay 35 million euros, they can get someone else, and that's the point. I don't think they want to.
Yeah,
they think they're going to pay. I think they're going to get away with paying this 25 million if it's true, and I wouldn't be happy unless we were to suddenly in a really quick turnaround bring in a new player and go, yeah, it's fine by us. We've got this new guy who's 23 and he's going to be in the spot for a long term. Softens the blow a little bit, but if he gets sold for a cut price and the replacement isn't incoming very quickly, then it's going to sour a lot of supporters.
Yeah, I agree. I'll be one of them. If we don't replace quickly or replace before we actually sell him, we've seen what happens when he's not in. Max, you're right. Totally redoes the entire formation when Idrissa Gana is not in. I mean, that's... Even if we weren't selling Idrissa Gana, we'd need another player for that position. Period.
Silva said in the summer he wants to play 4-3-3, but he hasn't got the number 6 to play that. So maybe if he goes out and buys that mythical number 6 who can play that quarterback role, as I've said, maybe that'll swing it for him. But other than that, I just think the way we set up now, we need Idrissa Gana. We need to really be made an offer we can't refuse because we've not got the players in place to accommodate losing them already.
Like you've leaned on this entire time, Terry, you've said it repeatedly. Trust Marcel Brands. That's what I'm going to do on this. Okay? If Gay leaves, and it will hurt, I have to trust that... I don't have to trust. I'm going to trust that Marcel Brands is going to make it better somehow. He's going to make it okay. And it'd be great if they were getting a cut price deal, Terry, Max, if we were in talks for one of their players.
Not happening.
I understand, but it would be nice. Just saying.
Yeah, of course it would.
If that right there, then it's a, you scratch our back, we scratch yours kind of thing. Because they do have a lot of players we'd want to buy.
If they use their substitute right back.
This is a good point.
No.
All right. Well, basically we're all wary of Idrissa Gana leaving. And Marcel Brands would have to work some magic for us to feel okay about Idrissa Gana leaving. I think that's where we stand on that, correct?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Interesting. So I guess that's it for our Ghana segment. We're a little apprehensive, but yeah, it'll be all right, hopefully. So for those of you watching on the YouTubes, this is our last video segment. So if you want to switch over to the podcast, you can check out If You Know Your History. It's an Everton quiz. Terry versus Max, cage match, looks like this. Yeah, it's great. They get super angry and they talk shit to each other. It's awesome. It's just like wrestling. So tune in for that if you want to flip over the podcast. If not, we'll miss you, but hey, it happens. You got a life. Thanks so much for watching. If you're digging the videos, please subscribe to the Toffee Blues YouTube channel. If you want more Terry, check out his Twitter. He'll tell you when he's going to be where, places like the Liverpool Echo fan jury. Yeah, that's a thing for Terry. Check it out. Also, Max, follow him on the Twitters. He'll tell you where he's going to be. He often shows up on the Toffee Blues website, where there's a lot of analysis that he does about Everton on there. Guys, I think that's it. Let's move on to the big brain bowl quiz. And bye.